Whatever can happen will happen. That is Murphy's Law. And so, with that, here's my presentation about Interstellar. Interstellar premiered in LA on October 14th, 2014, and it was directed by the incredible Christopher Nolan, who is pretty much known for his extremely thought-provoking films like Inception and even The Prestige. But this film is about a selfless man who chooses to lead this mission to find another world for the rest of humanity to live, leaving his family for almost 80 years as a result. Traveling into outer space through a wormhole into various potential planets turns out to not be what they were expecting at all. It's ultimately about the essence of time and love and how far one man will go to save the human race while sacrificing time with his family. Interstellar fits into the sci-fi genre for many reasons, and the first one being Gargantua, which is the black hole pictured to the left, that negatively affects most of the plot. Our lack of knowledge concerning black holes, the crew wasn't prepared for it, and its hold on one of the potential planets, which is that tiny black dot pictured on the left. Another semantic of the genre is the presence of AI, or artificial intelligence. TARS and CASE assist them in driving the ship, exploring the planets, and at one point even saving their lives. The one pictured on the bottom right, that is TARS. And lastly, the advancement and even the futuristic look of the Endurance is a key element in most sci-fi films. Sobchak talks about the films that treat spaceships in a positive light. In her journal, Images of Wonder, she says, quote, "There is no doubt as to the goodness of a technology which can produce such a magnificent toy," end quote. I felt like a great metaphor in this film is time, and time is life. I think it represents a lot of different things, whether it be that time is what kept Murph and her dad apart, time being relative, or even that we're always running out of it. Interstellar shows that just like time, life can get in the way of our relationships and it can slip right by us. Another metaphor was Gargantua, the black hole that I mentioned in the previous slide. Even the wormhole that they traveled through to find the other planets, which is pictured to the far left. They represent our fears in a way, and when we conquer them, there is something so much greater on the other side. Another metaphor I felt strongly about was that Dr. Mann represents humanity's weakness. The sci-fi show puts it perfectly, quote, "The basic problem of all of these utopian visions is one of human nature," end quote. I think that maybe NASA placed a little too much faith in these astronauts to give up their lives, all while hoping that the planet they end up on is the one suitable for human life. Quote, "You will sacrifice for a spouse, child, or parent, but much less so for a total stranger," end quote, is how the sci-fi show explained it, and it actually fits perfectly for this film. Dr. Mann lied so that he could be rescued because he was scared and he didn't want to die. And he is pictured on that bottom right picture, and I think that that is what fear does to people. It consumes them and makes them selfish, and this film shows what could happen. All right, I felt like a really powerful ideology in this film is love. This scene was one of the more touching and soft ones. Brand, when trying to make the argument to go to Edmund's planet, says that love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends time and space. And actually, the picture of her in the top right is the scene in the moment when she says that to Cooper and Romilly, her two co-pilots, if you will. I think viewers then realize and can see that Brand still feels that connection to Edmund, even though they haven't seen each other in such a long time. And even Murphy and her love for her dad never goes away, even though they end up spending an entire lifetime apart. I think this movie really shows through several characters that love does actually transcend time and space. And I think it's the one thing that we as all humans, can feel and connect with no matter what, no matter where we are, no matter how far away we are from the people that we love. It's still that one thing that just resonates so strongly with us. Cooper is pictured in the top left. That is when he is watching all the videos that he has received from his kids over the years while he's been gone. And then that bottom left picture actually is a scene when he is saying goodbye to his daughter, which we will be watching on the next slide right now. It's when he has decided to go ahead and lead the mission to these planets. And so he has to say goodbye to his daughter, and he doesn't know when he's coming back, and so it's just really difficult for her to hear that from him. And so we will watch that right now. So I think this film ultimately gives viewers a chance to imagine what could be out there. The possibilities in outer space are endless, and I think our technology might never catch up to our imagination in our lifetime, but it's definitely important to keep dreaming and to realize how truly small we are. It's crazy to think about. I think most sci-fi films are loved for that reason, the escape it gives us and the what if thinking. And another thing is that viewers see to an extreme what could happen to Earth if we're not careful. Like I just said about the technology, this might never happen in our lifetimes, but it is definitely possible, and we need to be more careful of the home that we have been given. And I think Interstellar really tries to teach viewers that. So even though in this film the dominant gender is male, women are still completely independent and powerful. Murph solved the equation of gravity, which ended up saving the human race from extinction, and Brand made it to Edmund's planet alive to find out that she was in fact right about it all. So even though there are more characters that are men, the women can definitely hold their own. Typically in most movies though, especially sci-fi, females always need rescuing and are usually blinded by their emotions. But George Faithful even tells readers in his journal that prior to the late 1960s, female characters in science fiction, horror, and action films were generally relegated to the roles of damsels or villains. But I love that Interstellar goes against all of that. Sexuality is not really discussed nor addressed in this film, and I don't feel like it's an important part of it, so I think it does just fine without it. There aren't any queer characters, but they did throw in a random moment when Murph kisses her male coworker after she solves that equation, and that is pictured on the top two photos. I do feel it was a tad bit stereotypical, but not enough to be upset about anything. It is also briefly mentioned in the very beginning that Cooper had a wife who passed, but aside from these two moments, that is pretty much anything that is explicitly about sexuality. Regarding race, all the main characters are white except for one, and that is Romilly, who is in the lower left corner. And he is one of the main characters. He's one of the astronauts. There is one other minor character that's colored also, but he is in the film for a very, very short amount of time in the very beginning. It's not really a diverse cast, which is disappointing, but I do feel that the actors and actresses chosen for each character were good matches. Looking at this film in terms of class was actually very interesting. Usually jobs and positions in society that are deemed as higher class, they are not important nor relevant anymore in this world. And so now the world needs more farmers, which are more middle class, or I guess even lower class, because the world is becoming uninhabitable. So everyone is being taught how to be a farmer in school. The picture on the bottom left is a scene where Cooper is being told that there actually isn't enough money for much education and that kids are being taught how to farm. TARS and Case are the most helpful, intelligent robots out there. I do feel that they help the other characters so much throughout the film, and like I've said earlier, they are willing to sacrifice their lives for them, and that is pictured in the top right photo. He went out and saved Brand from the huge wave that was coming to get them in their ship. So there's definitely that artificial intelligence presence, but even though most robots are usually evil or villains, TARS and Case kind of defy the stereotypes, if you will. Also along with them, there is the presence of that technology that is incredibly advanced, the ability to build, that space station to solve the equation of gravity, traveling through the black hole, etc. Some of the themes and aspects explored in this film, like outer space, space exploration, AI, advanced technology, I think all allow this film to satisfy the sci-fi world, but also they have that powerful impact on the canon and culture. Interstellar pushes those boundaries, in turn sparking curiosity and concern. I think curiosity because of the black hole and traveling to various planets, and then concern for what could happen to Earth, and yet also a very alternate, very possible world that we could maybe live on. And with that, these are my 3 sources.